Welcome to the grid in Pavullo. We are at the final of the Sailplane Grand Prix. Day 4, race 1. We just switched to task B. Let's see with Didier. What is he up to? Didier? How are you doing?
I think like everybody a bit excited, but not that much.
Welcome to the grid in Pavullo. We are at the final of the Sailplane Grand Prix. Day 4.
Bonjour. Le Grand Prix de la série 11. Nous sommes mercredi. Il est maintenant presque 14 heures.
Welcome to the grid in Pavullo. We are at the final of the Sailplane Grand Prix. Day 4, race 1. We just switched to task B. Let's see. Welcome to Pavullo. We are day 4 of the final of the Series 11 of the Sailplane Grand Prix. We are with the competition director, Brian. Could you tell us a bit more about today?
Morning, Claire. Yes, we have another difficult situation, but much more promising than the last 2 days. There's a very moist air mass. We have light wind, which is good, but we have an east wind on the Adriatic side of Italy and a west wind on the Mediterranean side of Italy. And the two are going to meet over the Apennine Hills just a little bit west of where we are. And when they meet, we will get big showers and it'll rain. And we are on the edge of this area with a very moist air mass. So we hope that we get a cloud base high enough with cumulus clouds to fly, and we hope we can get the task of the race made before the rain arrives about 4 o'clock from the convergence. So we need a little bit of luck today, I think, but if we are lucky, we should have a good race.
So you design a small task?
Yeah, we have a lot of constraints with the airspace and with the region that we can fly. And so we designed what we think is the only task today that we can fly, because we must stay over the lower hills with good landing possibilities when the cloud base is low. 1,500 meters is quite a low cloud base to fly here, and that's the best we can expect.
Okay, on the positive side, we have the virtual.
The virtual are having fun. Yeah, we look every night, we see that they're racing. 2 Polish pilots doing really well. And they are not influenced at all, of course, by the weather. So for them, they're probably looking at us and wondering what we're doing. Yeah? They're meeting every night and having their racing, and I hope people are enjoying watching that.
Yeah, so we will have more highlight from them.
And we hope tomorrow we have a better day. Huh? So if we fly today, it will be good, but we're pretty sure the next 3 days will bring some better weather.
Thank you, Brian. It was Brian, competition director.
And here we go. Welcome to this Sailplane Grand Prix Series 11. We are in Pavullo, Italy. And this is day 4, race 1. We hope it's a race 1. We have push and push back for race 1. But I think today is a good enough day, and we will have a race 1. I'm with Stefano Giorzo, who is our local specialist for this area of a flight. And but first, I have a simple question, Stefano. When I see the discussion between Claire and Brian this morning, it was Brian told everybody he needed a bit of luck. What was the difficulty for today's weather?
This morning was a little bit difficult to understand if we could get a window by the weather, because the forecast was with overcast clouds and temperature not rising. And beside that, the humidity after the rain of yesterday could only bring some low cumulus, low cloud base or plafond, and we were not sure so that we could get one race day today. Anyway, we decided to have 2 options, task A and task B. I personally flew in front of the grid. I started, and I tested if the weather was enough good to stay up and wait, and also to check if to the east, especially, was possible to fly, while to the north was still overcast in the early afternoon. So I just landed a few minutes ago,
Okay, so you took off before the competition
I
pilots?
took off in front of the grid, so of all the gliders standing there.
And you have some limitation, like, okay, perhaps if I have below this altitude, we will not launch, or
No,
you have to wait?
yes, we have two limitations. One is the altitude, so enough altitude to open the start gate. And it was before launching set at 1,400 meters. And the starting altitude is 1,500 meters. We have also to know that the task is along the north side of the Apennines, which means very close to the Po Valley, but also to some restricted airspaces.
Okay, so we have a limited space we can use for this task, but you did not want it to make the design of a task closer to the
No,
high
we could
high
not
peaks.
because the limit shadow and sun was exactly at the footstep of the mountains to the north.
Okay, so quite a difficult design for the task, and
Yeah.
so you made A and B, and at the end, this decision.
And at the end,
would
to
be-
the east, is the weather.
Okay.
Oh, that's so much better. And now, if we have a look outside the window here of the studio, we see that the sun is shining
It's better and better, yeah.
and it's going better and better.
So we will race today.
Yes, it will be a race.
Super.
So I have a small question mark to the west, but finally,
Okay.
I hope and I think we will have it.
Okay, so I think we have Claire on the grid, and she was checking with some pilots, so with some interviews and questions, and we will go back to the studio after this grid walk.
Welcome to the grid in Pavullo. We are at the final of the Sailplane Grand Prix. Day 4, race 1. We just switched to task B. Let's see with Didier what is he up to. Didier, how are you doing?
I think like everybody a bit excited, but not that much.
What will be your strategy? It's a very short race. What will be your strategy?
Can I tell you this evening? I think conditions are really poor, seem to be really poor, and even if it's a short task, story will be to remain as high as possible, I suppose. That is one point.
So a bit conservative today.
Really conservative, I think. Yeah, but at the same time, in Grand Prix, you cannot be too conservative. So yes, it's going to be exciting. Yeah.
Okay, we will follow you. Let's see what Stefan just ran away. Let's go to see if Stefan is back. Stefan, did you have time to enter your task B?
Yeah.
Can we ask you a few questions?
Yeah.
Mainly, what do you feel about a very short task?
Yeah, the weather is not so good, so it's good to have a short task, and I would love to fly today, so I think there's no other chance to use this small window today with the weather. Let's see if it is possible. There are some cumulus clouds more in this direction, so the task B is in the better area, which is great. Yeah, looking forward to it.
A short task means no mistake possible. How are you dealing with that?
At the end, you can just fly and try your best, and yeah, then we will see the result at the end.
Okay, so you're not planning to be conservative.
Usually I have a look at the others, what they are doing. If it's a good idea, I join them, and if I think it's not a good idea, then I will try to make my own route.
Okay, let's see. We will follow you live, see how it goes. And we'll see if... Oh, I can see Giorgio with his FES to see what is... Giorgio, sorry. He's entering the task B. Yes, can we interrupt you a few seconds?
Yes,
Right, change my task. Okay, I'm ready.
What is your minimal cumulus base to go cross country around here?
I am not confident with the region, but I heard that the minimum is 1,400 meters over the sea, 1,500 meters. I heard from other pilots, local pilots.
Do you know what we have now under that?
I don't know what happens in the sky now. We will see flying. And it's a tricky day, very short. If you miss a thermal, you are at the last. And we will see. I try to do my best. I am light.
We will follow you on a live, and we will go back to the studio to see what is going on and if they have more information about the weather.
And we are back. So we just had the information about the contest direction, but the start gate will be open at 14:45 local times. It means in 20 minutes. And it was really interesting to ask questions to these pilots. And I saw a bit of two groups at the end. And it's really interesting because the youngest, Stefan Langer, was really positive mindset. Like, okay, it is what it is. I will do my best. I will make the best of every second of my flight, and we will see the result. But the most experienced pilots, so Didier House, the first one, and Giorgio Galetto, the last one who was in the interview, they have a lot of doubts. And what do you think about this kind of behavior when you see the two kind of pilots at the end?
Yes, they have a different, each pilot has its own attitude. Some are more optimistic, some are more pessimistic. But anyway, the weather is the same for everybody. Mm-hmm. So the attitude plays also a very good role finally when you race. If you are positive, probably you are a bit more aggressive. Concerning our race of today, because the cloud base is not very high, they have not many options. So probably they will fly in goggles. I think at the very beginning they will fly together. On the first leg, they have to cross over 2 valleys and over a plateau. So that makes, and we expect cumulus only on the top of this plateau and some hills, some peaks.
We will see the 3D in a few seconds, so we will show you the task. So if you can get the 3D, yes, thank you.
Yes.
So can we make it a bit from the top, just a little bit first? Okay, so again we are in the northwest part of Italy, and we will zoom in a bit now to show you the task of today.
Yes, if we can see the task. The first leg is about 30 kilometers long, and the first valley to cross is unlandable, except if you fly then out of the mountains direction Modena, which is the bigger town very close to the edge mountain and plain. So at footstep of the mountains to the north. Then after a plateau where they probably will climb, they will have some more clouds as we see out of the window, sorry. And then they will reach another valley, which is much wider than the first one. And there are at least 3 places where they can land safely. But we don't.
No.
We hope that.
Yeah.
So.
Based on what we see outside for now, it seems to be quite optimistic. Yeah?
Yes. Yes. The only question is we don't know what it will be in 1 hour. To the west side of the contest, or I mean on the second and third leg. So we have to wait and see the weather improvement.
With 1,500 meters altitude, or perhaps a bit better if it's heating up a bit on the ground, so 1,600 meters. We are here at 680 meters on the ground at the airfield.
Yes.
And we need to make a finish a bit above this number. We need to be
Normally, when you fly at 1,000 meter or 1,100, you feel that you are low, very low.
Yeah.
And you don't fly normally into the valley, so underneath the peaks of these hills and mountains.
But they should be, when we see the screen now for the 3D, they should be, if they are at 1,500 meters at this point here, they should be able to make the finish directly with a control point and then going to the right.
As far as what we can see now, there is no big problem.
Yeah, okay.
Probably not very fast.
Yes.
But anyway, safe and flyable.
So you expect to have first a start with a gaggle, because the pilots are a bit, it's the first time a lot of them they are flying here, or not the first time, but in these kind of conditions, so it's a bit difficult. And so we will stick together for a while, and then perhaps we will see something with one or two groups, or some pilots dropping behind. But first we will stick together to
yes,
find the rest.
I expect they will fly the first leg, everybody together.
Okay. So this is a task which is just 120 kilometers length, which is really tiny compared to the standard task we have on a typical championship.
Yes, but as I flew this morning testing the air mass, the Vario values were only about 1 meter, 1.5, and not constant. So I think climbing will be a little bit more than weak.
Okay, so climbing is the key.
Climbing today is the key, yes.
Yeah. And so we'll have to stay as high as possible to have the most chance to
and then
the task.
And then look as a vulture to what other pilots are doing.
Okay, so we will have an interesting race, and we will see what the pilots are doing. Just, we can introduce some pilots. You can see on the 3D screen, bottom left we have Mike Young. If you go back to the 3D. 3D, please. Yes, thank you. Mike Young on the top, at the bottom left, and Maximilian Seys at the bottom right. So Mike Young is from Great Britain, United Kingdom, and he is flying Aventus 3. And interesting numbers are, you can see altitude is 1,700 meters. So it's, and you flew on 1,700 meters before coming back with the Duodiscus.
We have to remind that the maximum altitude on the first leg will be 1,600 because there is an airspace limitation.
So even if it's a bit better, they will have to stick to this maximum altitude.
Yes.
Okay. And so Mike Young at the bottom left and Maximilian Seys from France, bottom right. They are both flying Ventus 3, and as expected for now, they are just waiting for the opening of the start line, and so they are sticking together. I saw Mike Young a bit going towards the south, to the high peaks, but he was flying lower and lower and lower. So I think he was just perhaps testing if, when it's a bit overcast with a lot of moisture, if there is still a bit of energy he can use.
So when I flew this morning to the south, underneath the cloud cover, it was very stable air.
Okay.
Maybe, but it's difficult to forecast. If we have some sun shining, it could improve, but I think it's a remote probability we get it.
Okay. And on the morning, they were talking about in the forecast for the weather about some convergence, and it's part of the problem of today. I think you have a bit of northeast wind coming from the Po Valley, and a bit of west wind.
Yes, but it's not convergence that we can exploit. It's only the general air mass circulation, which makes make or produce or make that we have a cloud cover.
It's overcast.
Yeah, it's overcast. It's a very slow movement, but finally the result is that
it's covered.
Yes, it will be overcast. And later we will see if this overcast or these clouds will come through, because the west wind is stronger than the northeasterly wind.
Okay, so this is one
So
of the
this is
risks.
an open question.
Okay, this is one of the risks of today. If this,
Yeah.
all this overcast, which is building up on the highest peaks, are moving towards our area and then shading all the sun.
Exactly.
We are using solar power at the end with glider. Just solar power.
Yes, I don't understand what you...
We just use the power of the sun at the end. Everything we are gathering is just
Yes, it's,
made by the sun.
gliding is using only the sun energy.
Yeah. Even if it's not sun on the ground, the sun is making some winds at the end.
Yes, but there is anyway some radiation which makes energy, and if this energy is enough, powerful, we can stay up and fly and have gliding or soaring.
Soaring for the American. When we talk about the sun, we use what we call the thermals, so this kind of columns of warm air rising up in the air, and that's exactly what you are seeing now with the pilots circling. This is what we call circling as a technical word for gliding. But we can use also what we call ridge running. So the wind is blowing on the slopes, and we can use this deflecting wind up to the air and use this energy. But a third way is to use the wave. I don't know if we can have wave in this area.
Yes, we can have a wave. This is not the general weather situation favorable today and in the next coming day. If we have a look on the main ridge of the Apennines, I don't know if they can show it up. Very often we have not only a convergence from the air mass coming from the Mediterranean Sea, but when we have southwesterly winds, we have exactly south of Pavullo a big wave. In the past, some decades ago, I think just after the Second World War, it was made the altitude record, national record here, very close to Pavullo, up to 9,000 almost meters.
Okay, so which means, the highest peaks around here is 1,700 meters, 1,800
No,
meters?
the highest peak in the Apennines north is Monte Cimone, and it's about 2,100 meters high.
Okay, and with these 2,000 meters, you can climb up to 9,000.
Yes, but it's not only that mountain, it's a long ridge which goes, it's roughly about 70, 80 kilometers long, and peaks are in average about 2,000 meters. So it's a long ridge.
Okay, so let's go back to perhaps to zoom in on the start line and the pilots. We are 8 minutes now before the start, opening of the gates. I will just explain to everybody a bit of the rules. We have to make what we call a fair play start and a safe start. So we made some rules in the Grand Prix to ensure that everything is as smooth as possible for the start. And so the start gate is the green part you can see in the middle of the screen. And the first turn point is on the top of the screen. It goes to turn point 1, which is called Rio Vecchio. And the pilots will have to follow some rules on the starts. These are really simple rules when you think about on the ground, but in the cockpit it will be quite a lot of things to manage to make it nice, because each infringement of a rule means some extra time penalties they will get on their actual real time to make the task. So the pilots, they know that sometimes the finish will be like a gaggle finish, a speed finish with 6, 7 gliders together. So each second is really important. And so they will be really also focused on the start to avoid any penalty, any time penalty, to ensure that they can get the best of the points when they reach back the finish line. So easy rules are altitude. We need to manage the altitude, and there is a max altitude for the start. I think today is 1,500, which we will see with the contest director in a few minutes. And also GPS speed, so the ground speed, and not the speed they have in the cockpit. But they have all this information on their computer inside the cockpit, so it's available and they can manage it. But they will have to be below 170 kilometers per hour. And the third of a rule, which is also easy to understand, is they have to be behind the start line, so on the right side of the start line, 1 minute before the start, and so they can cross the start line all in the same direction. This is all to make it smooth, I would say quiet start and no rush. And we want to especially avoid somebody coming back by the wrong way when everybody is starting. So we make it in this way to ensure that it's starting in a really smooth way. And we can see now first pilots reaching the start line. So everybody wants to get the best place with the best altitude, really close to the limit, to ensure they will make the best start. Do you think today the start, if you make it not perfect, you have no way to win the day because it's a small task at the end?
No, I don't think so. They will have time to gain again a time and altitude, but it will be, as I said before, the forecast of the Vario will be weak, a little bit weak, and the terrain is not homogeneous, so I think they will have anyway some trouble to come over.
Yeah, it's one of the big point also when you have these kind of ideas on the ground. It's a small task. Okay, it will not go fast for sure. It will be not a long day, but it's much longer than expected.
Yes,
and if you think that the rush on the start line is the key to win, no, you have time, and you have to be patient in the cockpit to gain and gain and gain, and perhaps keep the Vario to be higher than the others, and then recover and be back on the.
Now we see we have two groups.
For now, yes.
Two groups of pilots. One small group to the west, higher.
Bottom left of the screen, yeah.
Yes, and then the other group very close to the start line.
Yep.
So they are still fighting to stay, and you probably noticed that they are climbing and then descending. So it means that the thermals are popping, but they are not steady organized.
Yeah, and you think some of the pilots on the bottom left of the group, which is at the bottom left of the screen, will wait until the moment they can go and directly go through the gate, or they will join the main group?
I can't see exactly the distance from the screen, but it may be. It may be.
The start line is, I think, 5 kilometers width.
Yes, so they are more than 5.
Yeah, around 6, something like this.
Yes.
So Yankee Oscar, we can see now, bottom left of the screen, is joining.
So if they do not have at least 200 meters, they have no advantage.
Yeah.
Compared to the other close to the start line.
Yes, this is one of also the numbers we will talk every day. Altitude means distance. You transform the altitude in distance with a glider, and then you have to gain altitude again to make more distance. And when we are talking about the distance between the group at the bottom left and the start gate, it's around 6 kilometers, and they need 200 meters, 250 meters, something like this, to reach the start gate.
Yes.
So being like a Juliet Golf at 1,700 meters, make you start around 1,450 meters, which is not optimal. So the guys who are all close to the start line are perhaps in a better position. And we are around 2 minutes now for the start. I think we will focus just a tiny bit more on the start line. And a bit from below.
A cross section.
Yes, and then we will see a cross section when we are on the start, yeah. So they are all joining now on this start line. You can see the altitude on the right of the screen, so between 1,600 and something and 1,500 and something, so there is no big difference between the gliders for now, and the pilots are together. And they are circling left, which is also one of the rules. We don't want to have a gaggle turning right and a gaggle turning left before the start line. So we are 2 minutes before the start line, and they have to all turn left again for a smooth and quiet start.
Yes. So, okay.
So Dirk Lindner on the fun. Fox uniform November is joining. The 12 is Peter Krejcik from Czech Republic. He's a bit alone. He's not joining the main gaggle. And now the two last gliders, which were a bit alone, are joining again the main gaggle.
But anyway, everybody has to stay 1 minute before crossing the line on the west side of the start line.
Yeah, they have to be on the right, I would say, not the wrong side, to be more precise.
Yeah, which is in this case the west side of the starting line.
Yes, on the left of the screen. Nobody will have any penalty for that, which is good. It seems to be a really, really quiet.
But everybody is almost, the altitude is lower compared to 10 minutes ago, because probably they do not have good lift over the airfield, or the airport Pavullo.
So we just try to not lose too much before the start line is open.
Yes, so they are fighting to keep their altitude.
Yeah. Yeah, some of are now below 1,500, and they don't want to lose more than this.
Yeah. But almost everybody is slowly losing some altitude.
20 seconds for the start?
Yes, you see now they are preparing.
20 seconds for the non-pilots is one turn. Basically, if you make one circle, it's around 20-25 seconds. So the
5 seconds to go.
And it's a go. And we will see who is crossing the line. Juliet Golf, I think, is from Netherlands. Eric Borgman.
Yankees in front as well.
So Giorgio Galeto is also crossing. Stefan Langer is also in the lead. Sebastian Cara and Sierra is also on the lead. And we will see in a few seconds if they have already some choices to make. But
So we can see on the screen the clouds. But we have some clouds over the river. We see all gliders pointing straight a big valley. And for sure over the other side, which is the east side of the hills,
I want to see where they go.
They will get other lists.
The big question is after the start line, where they will go, and what is the best?
They will fly straight.
Okay.
Over the plateau. So we see on the screen the river over River Scoltenna, which I said it's almost unlandable, except one field, very small, difficult to land. But anyway, they have enough altitude to cross over. And there is a plateau. Over that plateau, they will climb again.
And we can see perhaps a split already with some different IDs in the cockpit. We will see in a few seconds if really we have a split. Yankee Galeto, Giorgio Galeto, Yankee on the right, top right of the screen is going straight. And but already some of the guys are going really to the left, like Sierra. So Sebastian Kawa, number 1 ranking on IGC, the best pilots currently in the world. So something is already happening with 2 IDs, perhaps. One is, okay, I go straight and I go over this plateau.
So Yankee, Giorgio Galeto and Cava have almost the same altitude. They are flying parallels, but mainly on track.
You have been in this kind of situation in many championships you made. This kind of, we start and there is like, okay, everybody is watching each other's. What he's doing, why he's doing this. You have to think about why they are making this decision in the cockpit, and it's not so easy sometimes.
It's not easy if you don't know what is happening in front of you or what it may happen. But today we have some clouds, so we have hints where to fly to.
Yeah.
The only, as I said before, it's because it will be a bit weak and the cloud base is not very high. That makes flying over these hills and mountains difficult. So, but they can monitor not only other pilots in front of them, but also behind of them, because they use FLARM devices.
Okay, so there is a device in the glider which you can know what the people
are doing behind you, if they are stopping, if they are climbing in this case, or if they are going to somewhere else.
So you have kind of radar inside the glider?
A kind of radar, yes, to monitor the other racers.
So we see the speeds on the labels now. It's Giorgio Galetto is flying 188 on the right part of the screen, and the other guys are flying between 169 and 180. It's fast for the day, or it's the normal speed for this kind of 18 meters gliders with 48?
For this kind is, I would say, standard to fly at 180 kilometers per hour.
Even if you have some, I would say, 1.5 meter per second, you will fly this kind of speed at the end.
Yes. I think almost all pilots carry water, so they have ballast, so they didn't dump any water, I think, today, until now. And because they have not a big charge, wing charge, you say?
Wing loading, yeah.
Wing loading. So, no, it's a standard 180 for his 80-meter class glider.
Yeah, all the gliders from the noughties and then 2010 and now 2020, they are able to carry water with no big problem, big issues in the cockpit, even if it's a bit weak thermals. And the rules in the Grand Prix, we are making a limitation of 48 kilograms per square meter, which is for sporting rules to make all the gliders quite the same, and also for the safety of the pilots, especially in mountain area. And this makes the race really interesting. But yes, again, they can carry water with no big issue. From time to time, we will lose a bit the signal from the pilots. You can see that it's shaded in a bit of gray. It's poor data. We are sorry for that, but it will come back when the data are back also. So now they are over this plateau. You can see now in 2D. And we will focus a bit more on the 2D where they are on the plateau. The valley for the turn point, which valley is it?
It is the third valley from Pavullo to the east.
Okay.
And but I think very soon they will start climbing, because they reach a little basin over the top, over the plateau, and for sure they will climb. Okay. They have to climb.
They have to climb, yeah. Yeah, they are between 1,200 and 1,400 meters now altitude, which becomes to be a bit, I would not say concerning, because it's not a safety issue. But you have to not forget that altitude means distance in a glider. So if you have no more altitude between you and the ground, then you can't go further, and you have no chance to climb again, because you need this altitude to find the next thermal and the next energy spot. And we have two groups now. If you can just focus a bit less, so we can see, there is a split with two groups, which is also expected, because you told us that it was shiny a bit, so there are some clouds, and so if you have more clouds, you have more possibilities also.
You have more choices, so you can, but because the leg is not very long, also the choices will be limited.
Yeah, you can't go...
because the leg is not very long, so if you fly apart, then you lose time and altitude if you don't find any climb.
So derouting, I'm not sure about the English word, but I think it's deroute. You can make a really straight route, or you can deroute a bit.
Yeah, so small zigzag. Zigzag.
Zigzag, yeah, zigzag.
I don't know.
But yes, you can see on the 2D now the distance. So the best distance would be to follow the blue leg you see at the bottom of the screen. This would be the straight. And you can see the pilots, some of them are really sticking to this blue line, but the others are going much more to the north to make a detour, and perhaps find the best spot to climb. If you can go back to a 3D, if the signal data is good. Okay, so 2 groups. Yankee Oscar on the left with 3 Victor. So Yankee Oscar is John Catfield from UK, and 3 Victor is Thilo Hollighaus from Germany. Juliet Goff is with them, but a bit higher. So this is Eric Borgman from Netherlands. This is, I would say, the north group, and we have a group on the south.
Yes,
Stefan Langer is there also. Yeah, quite high.
So this group of flying to the north, more to the north, that's normally the better area to climb. We can see from the 3D picture.
And why?
Well, because also the sun and the slope are in the right position.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you go to the group on the south a bit, just to check who is there.
Yes, but you see that there is a bigger basin on the left side, and normally I don't know why, but there is more air coming up. So I mean updrafts.
Okay.
This is it's more favorable. I don't know why. While the others chain or little ridge
is more closed,
are too small, and the average elevation of that area is quite higher, so that the volume of the air mass is limited, and also then the updraft comes little by little compared to the other one.
This is one of the complexity of gliding also in a no flatland. We are in a mountain area, so it's not super high mountain, but still mountain area. And this makes the flow in the valley and the small valley more complex altogether. And sometimes it's difficult for them to be all together at the same time and help a bit to get some energy to make some lift. The first gliders are now really close to the first turn point. Can we get just the average speed, the current average speed of the pilots? We have a bottom perhaps also. Not easy.
After the first turning point, then it will become a little bit difficult. Everybody has to reach the ridge to the west again, and they have to climb, otherwise they cannot fly over. They have to climb. So now the decision is, should I fly to the turning point and then climb, or direct flying there and then lower, try to climb again? This is the question of each pilot now.
So this was exactly the question of Claire on the grid. Do you want to make it conservative, or like Stefan Langer is now leading with a bit more altitude? It's 1470 meters, so it's higher, like 200 or 300 meters, which is a lot for today. And alone, but leading. And he found, I don't know how, but he found a bit of energy and was able to stay higher than the others. But the others are now, they need to find something and to get more energy.
Yeah. Can we have a look with the altitude? Because I think some pilots are a bit lower than the average.
So John Catfield is the lowest, 1,000 on the right part of the screen. You can see 1,067 meters, and gaining a bit.
Yeah.
Thilo is not much higher, and then you have like 200 meters more for the other pilots. Didier Hoos, who was interviewed on the grid, is 12.
So now they are climbing well.
Yes, they are climbing now. Yeah. But Stefan is still on the top at 1,470 meters, and I think he's going to reach the first turn point. Eric Borgman also seems to be quite, I would not say high, but high enough.
So the first over the turning point will be November.
November Bravo is Maximilian Seyss from France. I want to know, it's 1,220 meters, so he was not so high but not so low compared to the others. And he will be perhaps the first to reach a turn point. We will see that. So yeah, Mike Sierra. So Mike Sierra is Marek Zawczuk from Poland. I told the Polish team that I will have to talk to them to pronounce their names really good. I'm sorry for today, but we will be better tomorrow. and the day afters. But yes, Marek seems to have made the first turn point. Mike Young must be not so far away. We have Yankee, Giorgio Galetto, we have Maximilian Seyss also from France, November Bravo. So all these pilots have reached the first turn points between 1,200 meters and 1,400 meters. It seems Stefan Langer was the highest one. And they are going back on the second leg. And we have followers, so gaggles of followers behind. I think they were obliged, they had to stop and climb because it was a bit unsure.
Yes, they were lower compared to the main gaggle flying to the turning point, so they had to climb.
It's impressive how fast, even if it was just this first leg was 30 kilometers, how fast you have some difference in altitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always amazed when I'm gliding. Sometimes you feel you are really low, and after 10 minutes you are higher than the others. So it goes really, really fast. And I'm not sure sometimes how we can explain clearly.
But in this case, there is the working altitude or the difference, the range of altitude we can use during the contest is limited. So if you want to stop, then you lose immediately time and distance.
So yeah, more pilots now joining the first turn point. I think Mike Yankee, so Mike Young from UK. Mike Alpha is Alberto Cironi from Italy. He's joining now also. And the fun is Dirk Windmüller, who won the German Grand Prix. He's also joining the first turn points.
So Mike Sierra is coming back.
Mike Sierra is coming back.
November Bravo.
I think Stefan Langer is just, he passed over the gaggles who were still thermaling to get some energy, but he's going on the second leg. We will have much more data when they are coming closer to the airfield. For now, seems to be a smooth start, I would say smooth first turn point, even if some pilots, they wanted to be higher for sure.
Nobody got stuck until now.
Yes. Nobody had to use engine. I think we have only one pilot with no engine in a glider. Just to be clear, if they use the engine, okay, it's over. They stop. The performance is stopped, and they are, how will we say, outlanded. So
0 point for the day.
0 points, but still, it's useful just to come back home with a small engine to sustain the glider and play again tomorrow. And I think just Stefan Langer must be the only one, so one pilot with a glider, what we say we call a pure glider, so no engine at all, which is advantage or disadvantage to have a pure glider in a competition.
No, it's a question of safety.
Okay, just safety and comfort.
Safety and comfort, yes, I think. But for this kind of race, regatta race, I think a limited number of pilots it gives more safe. Yeah. So
now the majority, if perhaps all the pilots are on the second leg, and they are going to the northwest.
Yes, because the cumulus and the sun is shining more to the north of the route. So
this was designed on purpose.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So according to the forecast, yes, weather forecast.
Yeah. We checked before opening the start gate. Okay, we checked from the ground, and Stefano was in flight also to check before launching all the gliders how it was. But we are also checking from really high with satellite view how it evolves. And this is also why there was this discussion before opening the gate and launching the gliders, because we have to give them, okay, this will be the task B before they take off, so we can prepare the task. And so we check everything we can have as data to ensure that we will make the best of the day for the pilots. And today was, a lot of moisture, but then it was coming back with more and more sun. And it was right from the ground. It was also right from the satellite, but it was opening and opening and opening. So the energy was coming back, and but still we had to be on a safe side. So they decided, the contest director decided to make it task B, so a shorter one, to ensure that it was a fair and nice race. And the pilots, I think nobody complained on the grid when he asked for a change for the task B. Everybody was happy with that.
Yes. I've seen on the screen before that unfortunately Yankee Oscar and 3 Victor, they were at the back.
Okay.
Because they had some problem on the first leg reaching the turning point. And again, 3 Victor, yes.
They are lower.
They were lower, yes, and still low, yes.
And we have to cross high terrain there, where
yes,
the
exactly.
best group is.
Exactly, as I said before, they have to climb. Otherwise, they reach the other side too low.
So we have to spare time to climb again and find some energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they have to fly a little bit to the north to get the best ridges hit by the sun radiation.
A lot of time in the mountain area like this, we say that a few meters difference make a huge difference in the life in the cockpit. Between the guys which are a bit higher, like 50 meters, 100 meters higher than the others, they can cross over some paths, and the others, they are stuck behind, and they have to wait, and they have to invest time to find something, a lift, and then they can cross the pass again.
So 1,000 meters is not a very comfort zone.
No, definitely no. But again, the valley is wide. If it needs to launch the sustainer engine, it's no problem. So let's focus now on perhaps on the leading pack. With Mike Yankee, November Bravo. On the right part of the group is Maximilian Sales for France.
And Mike Alpha from Italy.
Sorry?
And Mike Alpha is also in the group.
Mike Alpha, so this is Alberto Sironi.
Yeah, Alberto Sironi is there.
Lima Zulu, so Lukas Nidarzik from Slovenia is here. Yankee, Giorgio Galetto from Italy is here.
So we have 6-7 pilots together.
And they are exactly
straight.
the same altitude.
Yes, more or less, yes.
It's like a new start. There was some problematic before turn point 1.
So now you see they're not flying very fast compared.
A bit more conservative.
A bit more conservative, yes.
So this first taste of difficulties on the first turn point made them, perhaps we have to fly a bit different.
Yeah, but now they have to climb somewhere.
So it's a plateau here.
Yeah, this is a plateau.
So for the people who are just joining, we are on the race 1 of this Grand Prix Series 11 final. What you see on the screen now is leg 2 of this task of the day, so race 1. On the right part of the screen, it's the Po Valley, so we are northeast of the Apennines, and on the left part of the screen, it will be the highest peaks of this Apennines, north part of the Apennines. So now the pilots are going to the northwest. They will be closer and closer to the airfield. And the airfield is just on my left here. Yeah, you can see the start with the start line there. And we have already some pilots struggling a bit, like Yankee Oscar and 3 Victor, so Tilo Regaos and John Gatfield, which are a bit stuck. But now we can see John Gatfield coming back also in the group. And we have a leading pack with Stefan Langer, Sierra Lima, and I think Mike Sierra. So Alberto Sironi, I think, Mike Sierra.
No, Mike Alpha is Sierra.
Mike Alpha, okay.
Sironi.
So Mike Sierra must be Marek.
He's a Polish pilot, yes.
Yeah. And we are now close to the middle of this second leg, which is 46 kilometers length.
Yes.
So still 23 kilometers to reach the second turn point. You have just there. I will be, there, bottom here. This is the second turn point there. And just to make also a point about the weather, if you join now, it's difficult. If you follow the championship from the beginning, you know that we have to cancel the 3 first day. We are on the day 4, and it's finally the race 1. And it's still a lot of moisture from the day before. 3 days ago it was 36 degrees on the ground. Now it's around 16 degrees, so it's completely different air mass. And we are just recovering from all the rain, which was coming the last days here. And so basically quite a low cloud base, cold air mass, but still a lot of spread out, so not a lot of energy on the ground. And the contest direction had to design a task which is not so much in the highest peaks because there is too much energy there, so it makes overcast and no more energy on the ground. So they are closer to the Po Valley on the smaller hills, which is good because, yeah, just 1,400, 1,500 meters above the main sea level, which is not a lot of energy to cross the highest areas on the task. I'm with Stefano Giorzo here, and we are trying to explain a bit how it works on this area and why we are doing this or that. And you can see some pilots on the task now, 3 Victor, bottom of the screen, so Telo Legaos. Perhaps he's using the engine. I don't know, I think he's using the engine to come back. Yeah, he's using also the engine because he knows that if you are out of the 10 first, you have no points.
Yes, no points. Yeah, and because it's flying straight, we think that he used the engine. But we will see because now it's starting turning. He has a turbo, perhaps so it's not climbing very much.
He does not want to cross the plateau with just a turbo. He wants a bit more altitude.
Yes, and the valley you see in front of him is not very, very nice if something wrong happens. What I've seen that the pilots in front, they are always flying straight, not losing much altitude. I would say sometimes gaining some altitude.
So I think some lines of energy.
They should have some cumulus way to fly. So they are very close to Pavullo again.
And they're not so high. 1,100, 1,200 is quite low at the end for this area.
Yes. But as they did at the very beginning, they release in that area. So I expect they will easily climb again.
Can we focus on the leading pack because I think they are climbing now. And when I see out of the window here, I see some nice cumulus. So I think all the pilots, they knew that it was perhaps a bit better to go straight and go back as soon as possible in this area because it seems to be a bit more sun shining.
So they have to reach the ridge of the basin of Pavullo on the east side, which is normally more favorable. So that they do not stay in the lee, they have to stay in the sun side. So.
Okay, so Pavullo is on the left city.
Yes.
Where you can see the green thing, which is the finish line. So I hope we will have some finishers, but for now it's okay. And all the pilots are on the north area of Pavullo. And now they are climbing good. Stefan Langer is having, you can see directly in the label, it's 1.9 meters per second, which is good. It's climbing good. And so I can feel that all the pilots in the cockpits behind Stefan Langer, when they see Stefan climbing, okay, he's winning, it's good for him. But the very good point is now if I reach Stefan, I will be below, but I will climb also. So everybody must be happy in the cockpit.
So by now they flew about 50% of the total distance of the race.
So we can expect a finish in like 20, 25 minutes? It can be fast now.
Yeah, it can be fast, yeah. It depends. We don't have the satellite image, so we cannot really see what will be on the next turning point. But we'll see together.
So yeah, like remaining 50 kilometers, something like this, 50. In the best life, if you have 50 kilometers remaining distance to do, you would need 1,500 meters.
Yes, but because of the ridges and
Yeah, it's
unlandable
completely different. Yeah.
area is a theory.
Yeah. So flatland is completely different life than here, and but again, we don't see the faces of the pilots, but I can tell you, because we are all pilots. When you reach this point, you are close to the airfield. You have a nice thermal. Even if Stefan is higher and for now is leading and winning, but you're happy because you can climb and climb and climb, and you see already the finish line is coming to you.
So Stefan Langer is well leading by altitude.
200 meters more.
200 meters more, and now I think leaving the gaggle, which is in average at least 200 meters lower. In averages, some of them pretty lower than 1,000 meters, which is very low. So above the ground, they are just maximum 300 meters. 250 meters high, so
which is low.
Which is low. They have to stop and reconsider.
The next turn point is not at all the red cylinder you can see closer to us. Mm-hmm. It's on the top right of the screen, turn point 2. So still quite a long, even if we talk, okay, we are just 50 kilometers to do, it's not a long distance. But still, with this kind of altitude, it's again a long way, and you can see that Stefan is not making at all straight to a turn point. He has to invest. He's making a deroute again, and you can see, so Sierra Lima, Stefan Langer, who is leading, and he's not following at all the easiest and straight way to go to this turn point, which is really interesting.
Yes, probably is following some clouds, and the next favorable valley is Secchia Valley in front of him, but he has still, we can see from in the screen, it is exactly the mountain in front of him, and then there are some rocks, and it's normally very good for climbing.
So you think he will go a bit to the right on this small bump, or he want to reach the long one?
He will probably then, I think he will climb just in front of him, then cross the valley to the west to reach the other higher ridge.
So he will be really south of the turn point, and then he will go to the turn point.
But here you see you have two valleys, two rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Two rivers. And it could be that also in this corner it could fly.
Okay.
But we don't see the clouds. So
he's climbing now.
It is climbing now.
Yeah.
So normally it's this the way to go and then to look for lifts.
So it would be a day completely blue. He would focus much more on the ground and follow the nice orientated to the sun slopes.
Exactly.
But today, as it is a lot of moisture, he's also he's balancing between what is on the ground
and some popping cues.
Yes. Okay. That's why he was making the detour, and we can see that all the pilots are making the same detour.
So we cannot see the vario of him, can we?
Yes, we will get the label for the vario. But I think it's difficult to have a steady vario.
But he has some.
Yes, he's gaining altitude.
Now he's climbing. Now he's more regular.
Top right of the screen, always you have altitude, which is really important, and you can see that he's gaining and gaining. So around 1 meter per second. Every second he gains 1 meter.
More or less, I think it's no more than 1 meter.
Yeah. So
0.7, average 0.5.
So which means a weak day, definitely weak.
Yes, yes.
And that explains also why they change a bit the way they are flying between the first leg, which was perhaps a bit too optimistic, flying 170, 180, and then becoming low, and now they are a bit more conservative, and they need to accommodate to the reality at the end. But still, for now, Stefan Langer is leading the pack, higher, still climbing, crossing now 1,500 meters. It's a long time he was not so high, so happy. And below is Sebastian Kawa on Sierra, Mike Alpha, which is quite low, Marek. Mike Alpha is Alberto Sironi, who is quite low, below 1,000 meters, struggling a bit. And the other pilots are scattered between 1,100 and 1,300 meters
but
now.
Stefan Langer did it well, because now he's close to 1,600 meters altitude. Is very, very good.
Now, Yes.
So he made the difference on this leg.
With this
and now he's leaving, because probably he reached cloud base.
Yeah, he's leaving now.
Now is pointing the highest ridge we can see on the screen in front of him.
So this is also normal, but the relation between the ground and the clouds there is some interaction, and the life is coming from the ground because it's heating up. So they are also looking for this kind of energy and potential where it will trigger the energy, and all the decision and choices are set up because of this. And Stefan is making the best way to find the energy and the line of energy. So for now, for the other pilots, if we focus on the group which is circling and gaining altitude, and they were below Stefan, and Stefan just left, and all these pilots, what can be the mindset for the pilots about Stefan? It's over. We can't reach Stefan, and we are in another league, or they can still have some hope.
No, no. They will not stop on fighting. I've seen that. All the pilots under 1,000 meters are now climbing, and in average they are all about at 1,100 meters altitude. So I think the race is not over at all. So there is still to fight, and also for Stefan, one bad decision and then he will be at the back.
Yeah, that's the point also. You could see that the difference is really fast to be done in altitude, even if they are close to each other. So one small mistake from Stefan, and he will be back to the pack. And we saw also on the image before that we have a second group, which made it a bit more straight. And this will be also interesting to follow. So Golf Tango and Juliet Golf and Yankee Oscar now, they are making much more straight and shorter to the second turn points. And this will be interesting to follow in the next minutes, how it works, if it works good. They are not low, they are 1,300, 1,400 meters. And the leading pack is not so much higher. So we have a bit of issues with Golf Tango, but he's back. But still, Stefan Langer is clearly on the lead for now. So again, you are on this Grand Prix, Series 11 final. We are in Pavullo, Italy. And this is the first flyable day, and we are really happy that Brian Spratley was able to make an official opening of a race now. I think all the pilots were waiting for this moment. We saw, even if the weather was a bit tricky from the ground, everybody's happy, really happy to fly. And we had a nice start, really smooth. The first leg, which was a bit difficult for some pilots already, and now they are on the second leg, and they will reach turn point 2 really soon in the next minutes. But still, it's not going fast at all.
No. So I haven't counted, but they did already some thermals, yeah? Probably already 8, 9 legs?
Oh, no, I don't think so, but I would say perhaps 4, which is a lot for just 50 kilometers when you think about it.
No, because they stop and climb some turns and then they go.
Yeah. So we find sometimes some energy. We saw that, as you were pointing, that they did not lose a lot of energy to make some distance on time. But still, at one point you have to stop and you have to climb, which is also difficult in these kind of days with a lot of covers and not so much sunshine on the ground.
So we have now 2 gaggers, or 2 groups. And the difference is about 8 kilometers distance from each other?
Yeah, something like this, between the north and the south, the 2 groups, yeah.
So 8 kilometers means probably 150 meters?
Yeah, short, a bit short of 200, yeah.
Yeah.
But they are the same distance to the turn points at the end, so yeah.
Yeah, they're only set off.
So again, we are on this race one, and for now, Stefan Langer from Germany is leading on his G29. Really close to Stefan, we have Sierra, so Sebastian Kawa on the 123, and Giorgio Galetto also from Italy on his 123. They are all on the left part of the screen. On the right part of the screen, you have the 12, which is Peter Krejcik. I think he's flying an Ace 33. And he's with Golf Tango, our friend from Italy. I'm a bit lost on the name, sorry.
Thomas Kostner.
So two groups. Still a clear leader for now, Stefan Langer, because he's higher and he's reaching now the first turn points. I think he's a bit above 1500 meters, sorry.
Now we see also that Yankee Oscar from England, John Gatfield, is in the group with Golf Tango. While we have no news, so we can't see where 3 Victor flew. So
we know that the pilots are they have some style, and Yankee Oscar is always pushing and pushing. 3 Victor also, so they took a bit more risky attitude, and this makes them a bit more low at the end and struggling a bit. But Tilo seems to be okay.
Yeah, seems to be that he climbed again. Yeah. Is a bit behind, but the race is not over.
Yes, again, the race is far from over, but still Stefan Langer is now reaching turn point 2, which is Prignano. And then he will have only a bit short of 40 kilometers to do.
Yes, 40 kilometers, but the finish altitude is, I think, if I well remember, 850 meters.
Must be 850, yeah. So they can't reach just the airfield and land. They have to be much higher for safety issue. And I think it would be really difficult to make a finish on the airfield at 0 meter above the airfield.
Yes,
it's too much hilly.
Yes, exactly. So I expect that they will start the final glide at about 25 kilometers, not more far away.
Okay. So still 15 kilometers to fight for Stefan Langer before it will be okay. Now I'm safe. I can just glide. I use my energy, and I come back home. But yes, he can.
Yeah. It depends. If there is a small clouds street or some clouds on the track, it could be even from the last turning point, but we will see in a few minutes.
Yeah, what is the risk today is about moisture and overcast and spread out. And we don't know really if turn point 3, which is a bit more inside the high peaks, will be easy to reach or not.
Yes, I would say that we at the airfield now we have since a while sun radiation, so a lot of sun. I don't expect overcast weather or spread out to the west, so I think no trouble to come back.
Okay, so Stefan Langer is reaching now turn point 1, leading the pack. He's at around 1,500 meters, so quite high for today, really close to the base.
But look at the contest at the racer Fun, Dirk Windmüller. He's very, very high, and look at the Darcic from Slovenia, 1,800 meters.
So these guys are on the bottom left of the screen, so not leading at all, but they are much higher.
Yes, much higher. They can speed up and gain again some distance compared to their competitors.
So it will be really interesting because some of the guys, they took the decision to, okay, I need to stop, I need to climb now, I need to gather maximum energy I can, and then I can glide much, much further, much faster than the others.
We see also Mike Alpha, which 5 minutes ago was
quite low.
A bit low, now is over 1,800 meters, so they can probably join again.
Is there
the leading
any
group.
problem for airspace for the last part of the task?
In that area, they have they are close to the area of 1,700 meters.
Okay.
But if they stay a bit south, they can avoid this restriction.
Ah, okay. So Mike Yankee on the screen now.
1,900.
Yes.
Wow, Mike Yankee.
You were not expecting this kind of altitude.
No, I think the weather has improved more than what I expected.
Okay, it was interesting to see that the first part of the task was low and lower and lower, except for a few pilots, and especially for Stefan Langer, who made something on the first leg, which was the key for the difference he has now. And now, from the moment they reached back the area of Pavullo, it seems to be completely different now.
Mm-hmm.
Stefan Langer is close to reaching the 10.3 Colombia, and then he has just 30 kilometers to do after the turn point.
And that valley of Colombia is a good valley to find thermals.
So it's 1,300 meters, so probably a bit short to make a final glide, I'm sure. Yeah, not just probably, but sure. Yes, 1,300 meters. And he's followed by Sebastian Kawa on Sierra, by Yankee, Giorgio Galetto from Italy. I think we have Hotel Hermann Leuker, I think, from Germany also, Hotel Lima. Sierra Delta is Didier Haus from France. And the Juliet Golf from Netherlands is Eric Borgman, which is a bit lower, 1,000 meters. And the others are more 1,200 to 1,300 meters, which is much more comfortable. But still, the race is not over at all. And we can see that this tactic, perhaps with the pilots, which are behind, but much higher, to rush and rush and rush. We will see if this pays in a few minutes. The fun Dirk Windmuller, who was really high, is now reaching the turn point really high, 1,500, and 50 meters. So it's 500 meters more than Eric Borgman a few minutes ago. Complete different life again in the cockpit.
So again, John Gatfield from England, Yankee Oscar,
is at the bottom.
Is at the bottom by altitude, still flying straight.
And Tilo is back.
Tilo is back.
So
Tilo is back. Yes. Yeah. But only one thermal can make the difference.
So you're
on this short task and race. So
he has to bet on a bit of luck now. Definitely. It's not anymore managing choices and managing the risk on these choices, so the sporting risk, but he needs a bit of luck to reach back.
Yes, to be in the race.
And if we can go to Stefan now, Langer, for the leading pack, because I think he's climbing and climbing and climbing, so he's just gathering energy to make him comfortable. It's when you think about in the cockpit of Stefan, with a radar and everything today, he knows that he's leading, and he knows that he's above everybody. So it's not any more time to make any risk.
Yes, he's not losing, so he's also optimizing altitude and speed.
So he's managing in the cockpit.
So,
okay,
yes.
I need to have this kind of altitude to be sure that I can now glide directly to the finish line, and I know that my competitors are coming below me. So it's okay. I have to breathe and think about the best, but no rush.
Yes.
So joining below.
So it's still very high.
1,200 meters. So Galetto and Marek.
Sierra Lima is it's not 1,200.
Sierra is also there, yeah.
Sierra Lima, Stefan Langer is almost 1,600.
Now he's safe normally.
Yeah.
Should be okay to come home.
Yes, but he will be very cautious.
Yeah. So the group joining now below, Stefan Langer is Max Sierra, Marek from Poland, and then there is Sierra, so Sebastian Kawa from Poland, a Yankee, Giorgio Galetto from Italy. We have Hermann Leuker from Germany, Hotel Lima.
Yeah.
Didier Haus, a bit below 1,090 meters. All these guys for now, they are in the leading pack now. Stefan Langer made I would say the easy life for them. He found the thermal, he's circling, and they're joining below, and they're circling with him. He's much higher, but no stress for these pilots. Stefan is still climbing, gathering. We saw that it was possible to make 1,800 meters, and I think on these turn points,
maybe possible.
you should be able to make. You have to be careful with the airspace, but it should be possible to make 1,800 meters also.
Still climbing, Sierra Lima?
Yeah, still climbing.
Almost 1,700 meters.
So Stefan was a positive mindset on the grid when Claire was making some interviews. He was really open to what's coming out of the day. And there were much more doubts for Didier and for Giorgio. But still it works. I'm still amazed how many times in a competition we can make the task. And you would have on the morning bet on this, we'll be, no, we don't open the hangar, we don't fly, let's go home, let's do something else. But at the end, we can make it, and it's really beautiful to see this kind of race.
Yeah.
So I think Stefan is heading to the turn point now. And then you will have around 30 kilometers. Yes, 29.2 to be precise after this turn point to reach the finish line, which is on the top of the screen. The greenish area is the finish line.
Yes.
Some terrain to cross between this turn point and the finish line, or it's okay and quite open at the end?
It should be easy now.
At this altitude now, should be okay.
Yes, but this altitude is easy, but not fast.
So turning now is Sebastian Kawa at the bottom of the screen on Sierra, a bit below, so 1,440, so 200 meters lower. 150, 100 meters lower than Stefan. This can also be something at the end. Yankee Galetto, Giorgio Galetto, sorry, is now turning also. November Bravo, so Maximilian Seis is turning. Papa, Lukas Grabowski from Poland also is turning 1,300 meters. We have a gaggle here. We have really a gaggle.
Yeah.
They will fight to get the best of the points in a few minutes.
I see that Golf Tango.
Yeah, Golf Tango is here.
Could climb very well, or at least glide very well.
They are on the back.
Yeah. So only by altitude.
Yes. So Stefan is the higher and is the further. It's easy life. It seems to be always easy life when you win. Yeah. But I can tell you that we had to fight, and he had to fight all day, all these tasks to make the difference, and then to keep this difference active. So a strong achievement for now from Stefan Langer from Germany on his G29, and we will not focus too much on him for now because we think that it's done. And congratulations, Stefan. We will go back to you when you are closer to the finish line. But then we will focus a bit more on the gaggle, which is now behind Stefan. And we had to stop again, except Sierra, so Sebastian Kawa, who just left first the terminal where all the pilots are together. He wants to make the difference now, Sebastian. He wants to, okay, I go further. Perhaps he has a nice idea with the next terrain, which are a bit with the small peaks, where Stefan is joining now. And Giorgio Galetto is following.
And Cirone from Italy as well.
Cirone is following, but perhaps making a bit different. We will see in a few seconds. But also because Mike Yankee is much higher.
Mike Yankee has to decide either With Mike Alpha or with Sierra, probably.
And he's much higher, so perhaps he's on the final glide. But these guys, like Sebastian Kawa and Giorgio Galetto, are a bit below. So they need to gather more energy. Mike Alpha also, so Alberto Sironi. But Mike Yankee on the right of the screen, which is a bit shaded for now because we have poor data, is much higher, 1,500, 200 meters more. So it must be already, okay, it's done. For me, it's done. I will do the best now because I still need to do the best. But I'm okay for the total energy to reach the finish line. So again, on the left of the screen, Stefan Langer, who is leading, 1,300 meters and 60. We think he has enough energy. Followed by Sebastian Kawa, Sierra in the middle of the screen. Yankee, Giorgio Galetto also in the middle, and Alberto Sironi, Mike Alpha in the middle of the screen. All these guys together fighting for the top places of the day. And Mike Young from UK following this pack, but a bit higher, like 150, 200 meters more energy, altitude. And this will be really interesting in the next minutes, how Mike will manage to perhaps overtake these pilots. If you go back a bit, just to check the followers. Okay, so we have a pack who is just making the third turn point or leaving the third turn point, sorry. And they are all together in a thermal to gain altitude. But it will be now really difficult for these guys to reach back the leading pack, so Stefan and his followers. So we can go back to Stefan and the followers. So top of the screen, turn point 4, and then the finish line is right.
Can we see the distance?
Yeah, we can get the distance perhaps on the big table on the right to have a distance for the next turn point. Sebastian is pushing a lot of buttons to ensure that we have some data. It takes a bit of time. Okay, so Stefan is 11 kilometers to the next turn point, and then he has 6 kilometers.
So 11 plus 6, and then he's home.
Yeah, and he's 1,400 meters, so like 500 meters and 50 above the minimum altitude.
Okay.
Should be okay.
Should be okay. Yes, not to rush, but
yeah,
it will be fine.
Yeah. And Mike Young now is overtaking Mike Alpha and Yankee.
Mike, yes.
If you can focus on Mike Yankee and the two, yeah, perfect. Thank you, Sebastian. And Sebastian Kawa is still pushing and pushing and pushing, expecting something, but lower and lower and lower. And definitely not enough. Oh, I think he has to stop now.
He has to stop, yes, to stop.
And Stefan stopped also. He knows that it's okay. I'm really okay. I don't need to rush.
Yes, exactly. He can win only by a second and still win.
Yeah, that's way enough. So he's completely managing the race now. And he does not want to take any risk. The job is done, we would say. But still, it has to be finished. And Sebastian is perhaps struggling now to find something to gain altitude. Definitely Mike Yankee in the middle of the screen is overtaking now Alberto Sironi and Giorgio Galetto.
But you see that Stefan Langer is still climbing.
And Sebastian is making a different way. You have to remember that Sebastian Kawa, so Sierra on the right of the screen, he knows a bit the area. He knows not a lot because he was supposed to make a World Championship, I think, with you.
Yes, but he couldn't fly the Worlds because then he damaged his glider. So, but he did some training already in 2019 in that area, so he knows. But I think they are following some cumulus hints on the way to the last alignment turning point.
So Sebastian Sierra on the right of the screen is number 1. for a long time. He's the best pilot, perhaps the best pilot ever for gliding competition and gliding sport. I can tell you that he is never making any championship not prepared. He's making a lot of studies. Perhaps he's making some simulation flights to be sure that he knows exactly the area and to make it the best. So perhaps he has an idea going to the right like this.
Yes, but look what he's doing now, Kawa.
He has to go around?
He has to go around, you see? So he lost some distances probably because he saw something in the sky.
Okay.
Maybe he could judge there is an alignment of clouds on the way too.
And it's interesting also to focus on the group with Stefan Langer and Mike Young, because Mike is really close to Stefan. It's just 100 meters different, even less, and they are together. I don't know if we can just focus and check with the two pilots.
Yes, but there is still
it will be difficult for Mike to overtake.
Yes,
but he's trying, he's pushing.
Yes.
So the next turn point is on the left of the screen. I will try to, it's there.
So
from there, on the red.
Anyway, they are flying over high terrain, so they cannot really see the
airfield.
The airfield. So they are.
This makes you conservative.
Yeah, that makes you conservative. Yes.
Which is good. We need to be a bit conservative. So this is like a plateau.
Yeah. Now we don't see the speed. Maybe we can also have a look to the average speed of the gliders.
So we have 175 for Stefan, 160 for Mike. A bit less because he's a bit behind and same altitude.
So let's say they are flying the indicated airspeed probably 160.
Yeah, something like this. Yeah.
So not very fast. Normally,
not very fast.
As we said at the very beginning, in the 18-meter class, you almost always fly at least 180.
Yeah, this is basis with this kind of gliders.
Yes.
We go 170, 180.
But you see, they are flying over this plateau. We see on the left screen side this industry area. So, and that area is also good for climbing.
Okay.
Maybe just they pull up and gain some altitude, always flying straight.
Okay, so Stefan Langer.
Yes.
We are back. If you join us now, we are on this race 1, day 4. It's the first race we were able to do. We have to cancel the day before because the weather was not so cooperative, and we are sorry. We can't buy the weather. Whatever you pay, it's the same. So we have to live with this. But finally, first race, and Stefan Langer from Germany is leading, and now he's accelerating because he knows he can see the airfield, and he will rush to the finish line. Mike Young from UK is now also making the last turn point, the control point, and he has 6 kilometers to do. The distance is 1.3 kilometers, so it's enough and safe for Stefan.
Enough and safe. Yeah. But what happened to Kawa?
Yes, we have to check what happened to Kawa.
So because he's some case more behind them, probably had not enough altitude, or he couldn't find the path.
Alberto Sironi and Giorgio Galetto are now crossing also the control points. And Sebastian is struggling, I think.
Sebastian lost lost a lot.
Yeah, difficult day for Sebastian, perhaps, making a choice or pushing a bit too much. Perhaps we will have to ask him what was the idea. But for now, we can go to Stefan Langer.
So we have also to remind that only the first 9 pilots will receive some points.
So Stefan, if he's reaching the right altitude, so 850 meters on the finish line, no penalties, he will be the winner of today. Will get 10 points. So congratulations, Stefan. It was really interesting to follow you today. 890 meters, it seems okay. And he's followed by, if we can go to Mike Young now, from UK, will be the second, and he will get 8 points, so a 2 points difference. between these two pilots. It seems to be okay also for altitude, no penalties. And then it will be really interesting to go to this pack behind, because these guys behind, they want to make it the best together,
So-
the most points they can.
Okay, now I think it will be the fight between Mike Alfa, no,
Alberto Sironi is leading.
Alberto Sironi,
Followed
Galetto,
by Klaus Kalmbach and Giorgio Galetto. And oh yeah, just thank you. We are back. So this must be Mike Young on the 1-2-3, and Stefan must have just landed before with his G29. Always nice to see these crazy gliders landing on the field. Welcome to the pilots. Good job. And we can come back to the 3D, please, to follow the next coming. The 3D, please. Okay, so Alberto Sironi is making third.
yes, it says. And then
Klaus
Charlie.
Kalmbach. Charlie Tango
Yes, we have.
should make fourth. This is Stefan Langer below.
Yes,
He's
below
landing.
is
Yeah,
no
yeah.
problem.
So first Stefan Langer, followed by Mike Young, and then Alberto Sironi. Klaus Kalmbach from Germany making fourth. Again, it's preliminary results. Sorry for my English sometimes, but we have to wait for official results with penalties, if there is any. Giorgio Galetto is now also finishing.
Number 5th, I think.
Number 5, yeah. So he will get 5 points, Giorgio. And, oh yeah, we have Claire making interview live with a winner, I think. Let's go to Claire.
Stefan, congratulations. Sorry, we leave you. It was impressive. You take the lead really, really early on. How was it to know that you were on the lead and you keep it?
It was nice, the first leg, because there were some nice cloud streets and I tried to really follow them as much as I could. The problem was we were only allowed to fly up to 1,600 meters in this area. So we had a small margin where we can fly and pull up and thermal and so on. And there it was better to just fly straight in the energy lines.
You saw the others that were slowly catching up at the end. How was it?
Yeah, I've seen them, but I thought I just need to try to stay up and see what the others are doing. At the end, at a Grand Prix, you only want to win or be before another. It's not the time in between is not a matter. It's only the position. So it was a game at the end with Mike Young, I think. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was a really good race, really fun to watch. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It was Stefan Langer who won the first race.
Yeah. As always, when we are talking about the winner, it seems it was easy life from the cockpit, and you could see that today with Stefan Langer, it was when you interviewed just after the cockpit, it was a warm interview, and he was talking about, okay, it was easy. It was not easy at all, I can tell you, but it was an easy life because he was higher, and the higher you are in the race, the more you feel comfortable. It's really important what he was also talking at the end, because he was really pushing on the fact that, okay, in a normal standard competition, IGC competition, like a World Championship, but not Grand Prix, you have to push and push and push and push and push, because this is the time between the first and the second and the third, which makes it more points. On the Grand Prix, it's completely different. You just have to be 1 second before the others, and you make more points. So the scoring system makes also this kind of thing that, okay, you are now in comfort, you are higher, you know that you can reach the airfield, you just have to manage the race, and it's exactly what he made today. So this was race 1. I hope that you had a lot of fun, because it was really fun for us to follow this race. We can see some pilots now landing. You will have to follow us on the SGP Final website. You can also follow us on the YouTube. If you have any feedback, any questions you want to ask for the pilots, just post something, because we know that sometimes you want to know more about one pilot which is not really known and new in the competition scene for Grand Prix, and we will ask the questions. And I hope that today we will be able also to interview more deeply the pilots, but not on a hot interview, but on a cold interview. So they have to think and analyze what was wrong, what was right in their decisions. But we will have really interesting interviews and ideas and stories about today, because as soon as the leg 1 was on, we could see that some differences were made very fast, and some really a different life in the cockpits. And I would say also the ski points with Sebastian Coe were really close to make it in the points, and then making this idea perhaps to push a bit more and too much. We will ask him what was the idea and why he made this decision. For sure, it was a really technical day with a lot of moisture, overcast, and we know that perhaps if you are a bit too low, the life again is completely different when you are close to the ceiling with cumulus, and when you are a bit below, and this makes things more like this, more distance and more difference at the end. So I hope you enjoyed the day. Congratulations to Stefan Langer and to the other pilots for this really nice and interesting race. Congratulations again to Stefan for this winning on the first day. The referee and the scorer will check all the files in the next minutes to check that everything is okay and there was no infringement for airspace, infringements for limitations like speed and starts, all these kind of rules. But I think we have a really safe result today, and I hope. Normally the forecast is really positive thinking now for the next day, so tomorrow we have a better day, and the day after also. And so yeah, this Grand Prix is on, and it was a really nice day. Please again follow us, ask questions, don't be ashamed of any question. We are here to ask a question to the pilots, and these are the 2019 best pilots. One had to cancel at the last minute, but we are here to ask the questions and to know more about them, and know more about how they win, what makes the decision and the choice in the cockpit. So enjoy this remaining afternoon of the day. Follow us and check on the Facebook with next interviews we are making online. And we see you tomorrow for day 5, race 2. Ciao, bye-bye.